What's up, guys? We're here with true veteran Eryk, Ya Boi Anders. Eryk, how are you going, man?
Man, I'm doing awesome. And yourself?
Awesome. I'm doing great, man. I understand you're from San Antonio, so I'd like to start us off with asking about your upbringing in the sport. You grew up playing football, right?
That's right. Yeah, I have like JV level experience wrestling. Played all the sports growing up. But really, as I got older, I really started focusing on football and wrestling. Then we moved to a high school that didn't have wrestling, so now I just played football and ran track for most of my high school career.
Okay, yeah. And you ended up playing at the University of Alabama, right?
Yeah, I was there from 2009 or 2005 to 2009.
And how was that experience?
It was great. It was what most people think the college athlete experience is. Class, football, and trying to manage the social life and all that other stuff. So yeah, I couldn't ask for more. Like University of Alabama is not like especially at that time, wasn't like a typical, like a regular university. Like they have a lot of tradition. We weren't winning at the time. And then Saban came, and then my senior year, we won the national championship.
Oh, wow. And were you playing on the field during that time? And was the spell something in your mind when you were playing college?
Yeah, of course. I think everybody who plays college ball has aspirations to play in the NFL. Especially back then, there wasn't any. So, everybody was broke and, saw the NFL
Right.
as a way out to make money and have a better life.
100%. I understand that. Um, Moving towards your UFC career, your dominant unanimous decision victory against Brad Tavares, you showed dominant pressure throughout those 3 rounds in the clinch and on the feet with powerful knees and striking. And in the later rounds, you showed adversity, regaining control on the ground and avoiding those finishes. I just want to know, after a couple weeks, how's that victory age for you? Because I've been hearing things about it being a Fight of the Year nominee.
Yeah, I retired after that fight. So, going out on a win, I got to, pretty much say when I was done. I already knew that was going to be my last fight. So going out on a win, there's really nothing better than that. Of
Right.
course, I would like for the finish, but, Brad's a tough dude. So I knew he'd be hard to put away, but I was glad that I could get out of there with a dub and retire in peace.
Right. I get that 100%. I mean, you guys showed that you're true veterans of the sport. I mean, after that first round knockdown by you, I didn't know. I didn't know how he kept standing, and you showed adversity in the second round through that knockdown, and it was truly just a great performance.
Yeah, the thing that surprised me the most about him is how fast he recovered in the second round. Because
Yeah.
feel like I was really close to finishing him at the end of the first, ran out of time, and then when the second round started, it was like he was a brand new person. I was like, damn, did he does not have any toll on him at all.
I completely agree. It seemed like he almost walked to the wrong corner at the end of that round, and he came in with lightning speed. So, totally understand what you're saying there. Looking over your career, your UFC career, you had five knockouts, impressive knockouts over guys like Chris Weidman. I'm just wondering, what is the most memorable knockout or moment in the UFC for you?
I think it would be a tie between my first fight and my last fight. My first fight, just because it was my first fight, I knocked Rafael Natal out, I think, in like 2.5 minutes in the first round.
Yeah.
So that really put me on the map, so to speak. And then again, going out on a win in my last fight, I think, for anybody, those would be the first and the last. They're always gonna be the ones. The middle is kind of a blur. Like, yeah, of course, like I know, but I can't remember who I fought first,
Right.
Kyle Dawkins or, Andre Muniz, So those are all kind of a blur. Had a lot of ups and downs in my career, but, those two will always stand out the most, I think.
Yeah, I remember that Kyle Dawkins one in particular. I mean, you have a lot of great highlights throughout your career, and it's honestly just really impressive. I understand that you were part of Spartan Fitness for the majority of that time.
Yeah, I started training there. I think I fought for Chris and Spartan for, probably 4 amateur fights, and then my entire professional career.
Oh, wow. So really together a long time. Were there any prospects there, or guys that you thought could make it to the top, make it to the UFC that maybe never got their chance or are still, young and making their way up over there?
Yeah, there's a lot of young guys over there. This sport has a way of weeding people out. Maybe some people think it gets too hard. They have to train too much. Life happens to people. So there is a bit of natural selection in the sport. But there's plenty of people there now that have a bright future ahead of them. Anna Milsano, killer strawweight. She's going to be on the Ultimate Fighter. So, I expect her to do really well this upcoming season. She's in Vegas now doing all that stuff.
Okay.
So I would, expect for her to see her in the UFC here shortly.
Keep an eye on her then for sure. So I see you sporting Ya Boi Fitness Academy. I want to know how that's going. I see you're training all ages. Are you trying to coach for professional fighters in the future or just keeping it at a base level?
Yeah, I just want people to come in, get a workout, sweat, smile, and laugh, learn a skill set, and go home feeling accomplished every night. I'm not really looking to coach fighters because I don't want to manage personalities, and two, they require a lot of time. There's a lot that goes into the sport, so you have to spend a lot of time, a lot of weekends, traveling for fights and whatnot. So yeah, I have one kid in here who trains, who fought, and won his first amateur fight, and then he just asked me to corner his next fight. And of course, I'm not going to say no, but this is kind of how it starts. You get one, then another, then another, then another, and then next thing you know, you got a fight team. So it's all good though. Kid Prince Holland, he's a really good kid. I think he's 20, 21 years old, so has a really good work ethic, shows up, trains, and I expect good things out of him.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm wondering, how is the Boy Fitness Academy going, just as a program in general? Because I understand you started full time recently after your time bout.
Yeah, we've been open about 6 months. And the gym's growing like crazy. We're getting everybody in here, children, teenagers, and women, working stiffs. So, yeah, I couldn't be happy with the direction it's going and where it's at right now.
That's awesome.